some people, when does your salvation become real? When does God become real in your life? At what point do you realize that it's not just us coming to church on Sunday morning, that it's not just something that grandmama and daddy used to talk about, but rather God is actually a real God. Is there anybody in here today know that God is real? I mean, is there anybody in here today that know that all doubts are gone from your mind, that you don't have to worry about looking for a sign, but way down in the bottom of your heart that you know that God is real. You know that he's real because at the lowest place in your life, sometimes you can feel God saying you're not alone. Do I have a witness in here can say, preacher, I've been down sometime, been low sometime, but I know that God is real in my soul. And I made up in my mind to seek those things which are above. Paul here is not blind to the fact that the church is going through. Pastor is not blind to the fact that church people go through. My question is, at some point, you got to come on through. See, we spend too much time in the middle. We spend too much time focusing on the drama in our lives when we really should be focusing on coming out on the other side. I can't hear nobody. You know what's funny? Folk don't even testify about coming out no more. When they testify about how bad it is, how hard it is, how rough it's been, how ain't nobody helping me, how lonely I am, how I'm broken, disgusted. But I don't hear nobody testifying about I'm coming out on the other side. I don't hear nobody testifying about when I come forth, I'm coming forth as pure gold, because our mind is on our moment. But we got to understand that God is greater than a moment. And if you let God, God will move you past the moment and bring you out on the other side better than you were when you went in it. Somebody shout hallelujah. So he said here, you got to learn how to seek those things which are above. Preach, Pastor. I'm doing the best I can. He said you got to learn how to live above it while you're going through it. What it means, Lynch, it means understand that God doesn't always have to alter the fiery furnace. But what God does is God allows you to live above it while you're going through it, so that you don't become your struggle. I can't hear nobody. In other words, God says you can live in the project, but you don't have to be a product of the project. God says you can go through a divorce, but you don't have to have a divorce mentality. God says you can go through something, but be able to stand over top of it and look down in it and say, you know what, just because I'm going through it doesn't mean I have to be a product of it. Can I ask you all a question today? Is there anybody in here believe down in your heart that, preacher, I don't look like what I've been through? And if I do look like what I've been through, I don't want to look like it no more. I want people to be able to look at me and tell what I've been through. I want people to be able to look at me and be able to tell where I came from. I want people, when they look at me, to look at God inside of me. Can y'all understand what I'm saying? And so then, instead of trying to wear